Hi everyone, it's Joanna Grant. I'm back with just a quick little video to share with you of how I made some fun stamps to use in my mixed media art using just some scrap materials and some dollar store supplies. And I thought you might like to see how I did this because it's super simple, super cheap, and creates great unique stamps for you to use in your art projects. So what I've done here is I have had a package given to me to recycle rather than going in the garbage of just some inexpensive craft foam, and it's sticky backed craft foam that you can get at the dollar store. It comes in all different colors, but it makes great little stamps if you want to create your own out of it. So I thought I wanted to try this and just experiment to see what I could create. So all I did was take one of these sheets and do some doodling on it. I'll show you what I ended up doing. I just did some zigzaggy lines and filled the whole sheet with these zigzaggy lines, and then just cut them out with ordinary scissors because it's very thin and very easy to cut. So I filled a whole sheet with these zigzaggy lines and then cut them all out and gave me a whole bunch, which I'll show you shortly, a whole bunch to work with. I also took another sheet, a different sheet, and on that sheet what I did was I used an old stencil I had that had these squiggly lines, and I just filled the whole page, or pardon me, the whole piece of foam with these stenciled images. I turned the stencil around, made them all fit onto a page, and then cut all them out as well. So now I've got all these little images, all these little bits of foam, and they're sticky. They've still got the paper on them. So now we need to mount them. So as a recycler that I am, I've got a whole bunch of stuff that I could turn into bases for these new stamps. Here I had some packing material. This is just heavy cardstock that came with something. And what I've done here is just peel off the backing on my little zigzaggy lines and made them fill this space to become a big stamp. So turning them every which way, cutting them off so they'll fill the page. Very easy to cut this stuff. So literally I just filled the piece of cardstock with these images to make a really unique stamp. Here's the other one I did, and I combined the two types, the squiggly lines and the zigzaggy lines, to make a unique stamp as well. I also took some coasters. I had just some plain cardstock round coasters and did exactly the same thing. The idea was just to fill the round space with these images. And so just peeled off the backing and adhered them and trimmed them up so they fit within the circle image. I also had some old bus passes, and these are just plastic bus passes that were being discarded, and they're like a credit card, so they're very sturdy. So I used them as well just to mount some of the fun foam to make unique stamps. So I really got quite a few. I've still got some leftovers, as you see here, but I still got quite a few little unique stamps out of this whole process. And then I did decide to take it just one step further, and that was to put handles on some of these, which I'm going to with these ones as well, just because it's much easier to work when you're stamping things if you have something to hold on to. These flat two-dimensional pieces are a little awkward to work with. So I thought, what have I got that I can just make into handles? So I went into my recycling bin and came out with some different things. These are both from a salad dressing bottle. That's the cap that goes in the bottle so you don't pour too much out at once, and that's the other cap for it. Here's another one. And I just love to use these as handles for my little handmade stamps because it sure makes life easier when you want to use them, as I said. So why don't we try, I've already done it with this one where I just adhered it. What I did was I took my goop, household goop, or you could use E6000. I find these type of glues work well for this because they have flex, and so they'll work well with something that's going to be worked and used. And I'm just running a blob of it around this lid, being very generous because I do want it to stand up, and it doesn't have to look like a work of art because it is just a rubber stamp. or a foam stamp technically. I'll be quite generous with running this glue around. It's a bit dry. I don't think I would use a hot glue for this. I don't think it would be the right application for it, but this glue seems to work for this kind of thing. There we go. So I've got quite a bit of glue. Just put on with a toothpick around the edge of that cap. And I'm just going to plop it down, press it in. It's going to seep out a bit around the edge, and that's fine. I like that because then hopefully I'll get good adhesion. And then I'll just set that aside to dry. And then I will end up with something like this where I've got a great handle for it. Other caps you might use as well. This is a cap off a spray paint can, and it's already designed as a hold for you. So if you're thinking of making something larger, this would be a great handle to put on another one of these stamps. Yeah, so we'll set that one aside, see if it dries. I'll put these on later. And then let's take a look-see at how these stamps are going to work. I've just got some black ink here. Actually, it seems like a very dry ink pad, so we might not get that much out of it. Let's try it both this way. Having that handle sure makes a difference. And there's a piece of paper. Let's try my new stamp. So these won't last forever, but it's sure a great inexpensive way to make some unique stamps for yourself to use. Anyway, I hope you found this little video helpful, and maybe you'll come up with some great stamps for yourself for your own mixed media work. I'm going to carry on with this, and thanks for joining me today. I'll see you again soon.